Been a hot minute, ain't it? Just got the grandson down for a nap, and he's tired. Well, these may not seem like they're connected, but I prefer quality over quantity and convenience. Right. We used to have this argument when we played D&D at my house when I was younger, of the 4 cheese pizzas versus 2 pizzas with some toppings. I always erred on toppings over a bunch of fucking cheese pizzas, right? This always led to an argument with a few of our gluttonous crew members at the time. Let's call it what it is. It was gluttony. So I'm switching to a percolator over a drip coffee maker because I've been having issues with my drip coffee maker. I wonder if I'm just going through the motions and drinking coffee in the morning sometimes, you know. And a percolator coffee is way much better. I was like, just thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, quality over convenience. I'm the same way with my games. Quality, that which I enjoy, that which runs parallel to how I actually run my games, versus the fad of the moment. Don't care for fads. I was never one to be part of the crowd when I was a kid. I was always on the outside looking in, which means I bridged a lot of cliques. So I talked to a lot of different people, but I never belonged to any clique, group. So I didn't have a lot of in-group connections till later on. That's a whole different story. That's a political story. That's a political journey. So we won't get into that right now. But it's also a complaint about the price of the Dragonslayer hardback again. I don't know how much you guys waste on Kickstarters, so smack's a little hypocritical to me. Just saying. I'm very picky. I back the people who I think put in the work. Gillespie puts out the best mega dungeons in the game, in the hobby, and they're different genres. And he's building his own world there. So I'm like, cool, I'll do it. And there might be some criticisms about that's just someone's home world. That's someone's home brew, and that's their own house rules. What do you think the fucking Forgotten Realms were? Really? What do you think Greyhawk was? Really? It was Gary's world. It was Greenwood's world. And everybody loves to be in those. We all put our spin on those, or we make ours from scratch. I can shoehorn in pretty much anything into my world. But I typically restart my world for my new groups. That way they have more of an impact in the long term. For as long as that group is together. Right? That's how I do it. You may not agree, and I honestly don't give a fuck. So, yeah, the monochrome version I think is $65. And I'm actually thinking about buying it because I think it looks better. But I use VTTs, so I only need a PDF. And the rules were the same price as the Mega Dungeons. So it was on the same price point, so I didn't think about it that much. And since I've spanned this as an investment over 5 years, 35 times 4 plus 35. 35 times 5. So that will be a 5-year investment of $175 divided by 5, which comes out to like $35. Dude, I waste more money on way less important things than that. Okay, especially for the amount of playtime I'm getting out of it. If it supports a creator who's putting out crap I like, a jobber, the hardest working jobbers in the business, in my opinion, for what I enjoy, Greg Gillespie, Miguel and Sylvia in the Red Room. They crank it out. They back it up. I can contact any one of those three and get feedback on game questions, mechanics questions. So that convenience factor is a quality factor. It's what I run. There's a lot of new stuff out I can't stand. I don't spend too much time bashing on it. If it comes up in a conversation, I'll throw my opinion out and go on my day. But some people can't let that go. They chew on that like a coyote with its damn paw in a trap. But they didn't step in any damn trap. It's just a mental trap, an obsession. How dare you enjoy something I don't think's that good? Fuck you. Weirdos. Play what you want. I've been debating about customizing Dragonslayer, but I like to play as close to raw, at least one full session, or one full campaign before chopping it up. But I've gotten into how I do things a certain way that it's hard for me to stay that way very long. That customization desire is strong, so I'm fighting it. There are a few modifications that I would do. Ranger to D8 with 2D8 at first level in line with AD&D. The Barbarian to D12. I will keep the restrictions of all classes involved for multi-classing because I think that protects class protection, niche protection. And if you're going to multi-class as a fighter, you need a straight fighter. I mean, you just need a straight fighter if you want. You need a tank. You can't let that dilute. And multi-classing dilutes. The thing about only allowing the core classes to be multi-class helps as well. So the specialized classes can be just that, specialized. Assassin, Barbarian, Ranger, Monk. I am thinking about creating classes for Dragonslayer. And since it's in the AD&D vein, they're going to be stuff that we got out of Dragon Magazine and such in the past. There is no need to make an archer class, however, since the you can cleave with a bow. And to keep the power keel kind of like safe, you don't want to give multiple tags. That gives that little BX flair or the AD&D light. And I like that AD&D light group. So this is going to be a general musings on Dragonslayer. I've already made some minor modifications, even when I said I was going to play raw. Reaction rolls are in. I think the core mechanics of anything that's going to call itself an OSR game are reaction rolls, morale rolls, and gold for XP. And if you take one of those out, you have shifted towards modern gaming, and it's not what I would classify as an OSR game. It's a game design principle. You can disagree with me. And like I said before, I don't give a fuck if you disagree with me. Take the advice or don't take it. I don't care. It is what it is. So my voice is a little low this morning because I tried to run a game sick last night, and I should not have. I should have just went straight to bed after taking what I needed to take to sleep, rest, and recuperate. I've got to be careful about that anymore because some of that stuff I think makes my heart dip. And I'm tired of waking up in the middle of the night after my heart's dipped down to 25 beats a minute for a few minutes. It's worrisome and it's tiresome. So, what I was talking about. Oh. So there were some things that were left out of Dragonslayer, but when you look at it, it's designed for dungeon crawling. You don't want to stay in the dungeon, you want to get back to town every session. That makes it easier to run for a West Marches style, where you have multiple players coming in and out. And I thought that the optional rule for the death save from -2 to -9, -1 to -9 would be unbalancing, but no, people are still dropping like flies. Last night I did not have a fatality, but they are always like the walking wounded lately. even with the D3 bind wounds at the end of every combat. I did hand wave a overnight rest thing because it doesn't really have one, because it assumes that you're going to be back in town at the end of every session. Like I said, it's made for dungeon crawling. We did have a discussion about, just because we're not tracking each encumbrance coin, it does say in the rules within reason. So we had a within reason argument. When they decide to pass around a halberd like someone's going to carry it in their backpack. You can't carry a halberd in a backpack. You carry it in your hands. And if you're not using it, it's leaning against the wall or it's in a weapons rack. I will allow a two-handed sword to be slung across your back because we've seen that fantasy trope. Although in actuality, that's not what happens. It's not how you carry that thing. So we had that discussion. And I like that about this system because it says within reason and being practical. We had a honest discussion about it. No one got hot. No one got upset. Anything. We just kind of laughed it off and go, yeah, you're right. Blah, blah, blah. We probably should get some more donkeys for our food and other stuff, which is the whole reason you take a pack animal into the woods, to carry all your pots and pans and your food. You don't carry all your food in your backpack unless you're only on the hoof, right? Unless it's just you in a backpack. Otherwise, provisions are on a donkey, a horse, or a cart. Or in your base camp on a truck. Okay? MREs are typically delivered to you in the field. You usually have 2 in your backpack, tops. If you're suiting up for a field exercise and they slap in 5 or 6 MREs in your backpack, you know it's going to suck. So, yeah. It's the general musings. Quality over quantity. And quality is typically defined by what you get the max enjoyment from. There's a lot of stuff out there I just don't enjoy anymore. I know what I want to run. My guys are having fun. They've been a little bit more fleet of foot lately. I'll give it that. They actually ran from not 1, 2, 3 encounters last night. I am debating about awarding XP for avoiding the conflict. Because we remember what it said in AD&D, and we use that as our reference, right? Defeating or overcoming. And defeating, I count as routing and turning. So if you turn X amount of undead and they flee away, you get XP for defeating those undead, divided amongst your party. If you see a hill giant at first level and decide to hide from it, should you get XP for avoiding the encounter, or simply for tricking the encounter, or containing the encounter? They also fled from a room with green slime in it. And they also fled from an unknown skeletal figure, which I added some stuff on the fly to. I gave it eyeballs and a tongue, which one player knows I like the Skeletor and the Zombire from Lindor Alice's by Lakofka. So they assumed it was that. It wasn't. But so rather than fight, they fled. They're like, nope. Skeletal being that talks. It's not a regular skeleton. We're all wounded. It advised them not to defile something and to flee, to leave. And they did. And I used a monster reaction round. Didn't have to. I knew it was an undead that wouldn't necessarily attack on sight. So, yeah. Working on stuff. Customize everything to your table. It's difficult for me right now because, like I said, I wanted to do as much as raw as possible, and I already want to take my little scalpel to it. Choop, choop, choop. But it's all the same stuff I did to Labyrinth Lord, and all the same stuff I did to OSC. And since it's all in that same vein, it's only natural I do the same things to all three. So it's not surprising to me. It's a feature. I'm a feature, not a bug. Is what it is. Alright, I thought I'd share it with you this morning. I'm really excited about getting a percolator. I'm really divided. Do I want to buy a vintage one? Antique? Or do I just want to get something quick and easy? As long as it's got the glass on top and not plastic. I don't want fucking plastic on my shit. Stainless steel. I saw some copper ones, but copper's good for purification of stuff, and heat control, but it's more maintenance. I think I'll just get a stainless steel with a glass bead. More the glass bead. Anyway, game well, game often. Have fun. Rather make let's think about stuff in your game. Talk to your players. Yeah, it works. We're all here to have fun, so you're trying to find that point on the chart where your work, their participation interacts for maximum fun. So yeah. Later, y'all.